What up? Another ITSL game, organised by Basmex. I'm playing at Roger. He's USA plus 2, I'm USSR. Let's get going. See if we can make up for my disastrous showing the other day in the ITSL League. Alright, I'm USSR, I've got Asia scoring, I've got Vietnam revolt, so there's always the cheeky domination, assuming I don't get defected. I want to get CIA out the deck ASAP. So we'll open 4-4-1. Because I don't have duck and cover, I can't do the de Gaulle gambit. I don't think I've played Roger before. Negatory. Good rankings. Decent showing. So yeah, I like Vietnam revolts here. If I had Middle East scoring, then obviously Arab-Israeli war would be another option. So I've got a lot of red cards. Warsaw, de Gaulle, Vietnam, Arab-Israeli, Comic-Con, Asia scoring, CIA. East European unrest is spaceable or to some extent playable. But for headline, I like Vietnam revolts, then Asia scoring. Four 4-2 opening, right, so let's go with that. He drops the Middle East. We'll drop the Asia. Easy peasy. There's some debate about whether or not you push into Thailand immediately. But remember, you've got ops advantage through the cooing and counter-queuing. Cooing, sorry. So it's not unacceptable. So CIA is not playable at 2. Big opening coup, typical, but let's counter coup. And I get cleared out. Perfect. Good time to roll a 1. Alright, well, at least I managed to snag Dom with it. So next on the agenda is get CIA out my hand before Defcon drops to 2. Get Eastern European rest off to space. Because I've got Comic-Con and Warsaw, I'm not going to be inflating my ops count in East Europe. So if we can beat him to space, so much the better. And try and hold de Gaulle through the turn. To get the foothold in France. So we're okay with him spreading his influence around there. It's kind of disparate. I get the space off, which is good. With Asia and Middle East scored, like, you know, okay, fine, yes, getting traction, but the one thing I want to watch out for, obviously, is that that I don't get realigned out of Iraq. I did get fit out, that's fine. So yeah, I mean, the last big thing about... I mean, he's going to ditch blockade early. That's just he doesn't have D-style. Clearing his hand out. 1 op. Into France. We want to get Defcon down before we do mad stuff in France. So let's have a coup on Panama, which is a nice big one. We'll event CIA, which, tips off the fact we've got de Gaulle, so we need to watch out for defectors. Duck and cover's gone, so we want to get DEFCON down another notch, because we don't want to be at DEFCON 5 when we event de Gaulle. Indo-Pakistani war's now yet, so we're not guaranteed to snag Milops, so he goes off to space. I'm glad that I managed to get to space before him now, having seen Captured Nazi. Alright, we're going to event CIA now, and just get it out the hand. We are hoping he coups with it, so that he doesn't get a coup off on Panama, although of course it's distinctly improbable. He'd do well to put this in Afghanistan, because obviously if he doesn't, one of the options is me putting one in there and coupping Pakistan or Iran, depending on what drops. So Afghanistan does the most, in inverted commas, damage. And then I'll get a coup off on Iran to finish if he doesn't race DEFCON down. But I'm always satisfied getting CIA out early, even if I've tipped my hand a small amount. It will at least... If I get defectors, I can event de Gaulle. If I don't get defectors, but I get Europe scoring, he's not going to have full France knowing I hold de Gaulle unless he 5-year plans me. Alright, so he's looking for the real line. I'm going to walk into Afghanistan here and take a coup on the last turn. So let's see what he does here. He might walk into Pakistan, which is in principle fine as well. He's spacing D-style, so he did loose it with blockade. Not sure that's ideal. So we've got two options. We can either play into Pakistan or take the coup. I think we take the coup because he then needs to coup again to get DEFCON down below the level of being able to just walk into Pakistan. Obviously, if I don't get defectors, I can approach another gambit. Having seen D-Star gone, really, decall and defectors in my hand would be ideal. But with duck and cover gone, there's no fancy shenanigans I can do with DEFCON. So he ideally wants to get a coup off here to to avoid losing points to Milops. We'll see what the last card in his hand is. The deck's stacked very blue the way it's come out. Special relationship. Will he push France up? No, he takes Iran back. So we do get defectors, which is great news. So we event de Gaulle, and then we start to race up country count, and we get 2 DEFCON pips. And I've got Marshall Plan as well, which is a bonus. So, barring a catastrophe, I should be able to score... I mean, a purge is probably the worst thing for me. And then probably second worst is 5-year plan pulling something. Okay, so let's see what he pulls. Marshall Plan's bad too. NORAD's fine. So we'll begin the begin. So Turkey for taking Greece with Marshall Plan is passable. If he tries to stuff France, we can use Suez. And we do, of course, now NATO's been triggered, need to watch out for so, I mean, if he's got a 4-op, Canada plus Greece is the obvious. He may just take Canada here. Yep, cool. So we'll use defectors and give up the VP first. It'll be interesting if we spend the entire bleeding turn facing off here. Well, we know he's not holding any. Alright, so we're happy to do this, because if he leaves DEFCON at 5, then we've got an opportunity next turn to realign West Germany, which is not unpleasant. The downside of that gambit, of course, is that if I play Marshall Plan, he can move on Benelux and Denmark. Which makes realigning less appetizing, because he's got to walk back, got a way to walk back in. It's a catch-22 because I'm not developing ball position in the Middle East or Asia, and I have no access cards. So, okay, well that settles the deal in Europe at least. So we'll drop Europe scoring for domination. I may now use Marshall Plan to take South Korea. The inherent risk of Pakistan is obviously we've not seen Indo-Pakistani war yet. So using Marshall Plan to coup Pakistan might inevitably result in a 50-50 flip back, which is kind of gross. If he coups somewhere to drop DEFCON, we can use the China card to take Afghanistan and Pakistan. And then, well, there's a risk, isn't there, of venting Korean War is an opportunity to walk in. Ooh, using decoll against me. Well, at least they're back in the deck, so that's fine. Right, we're going to use Marshall Plan on Korea. And if he uses Indo-Pakistani war here, we can use the China card to coup Pakistan. But I'm inclined to be risk-averse and just coup Iran. We haven't seen Nasser go yet, so Egypt's... Nasser's the last red card in the deck. We've got nuclear test ban, Indo-Pakistani war, Olympic Games, Red Scare Purge, NATO containment, independent Reds and Truman. Ooh, Truman. Crap. In which case I might need to overprotect France. Okay, so Indo-Pak war or Truman would be nice to see come out the deck at this point. And of course, not dropping Defcon's good because it reduces the number of places he can break with NORAD coming in. So actually, I might not coup here and give up the Milops in order to keep Defcon at a stable rate, which is not great. So what do we think here? I think we're going to be bland and give up the Milops, but overprotect. I'm not overjoyed with this. USSR giving up Milops to the US in early war always strikes me as absurd. But we'll see what comes out in the reshuffle. We have the luxury of Decol and D-Style potentially dropping in our favour. We've seen Indo-Pak war go, so there is a potential flip of Pakistan if we are the gambling sort. And then treatment doctrines, okay. We're fine with a drop. That's a big coup. We're fine with that, though, because he can't break anywhere with it. So, one in South Korea is about the worst he can do here. Great, we've got Europe scoring, which is nice to come back in the reshuffle. Cambridge 5 is a good headline here, because defectors may have been reshuffled back in. So he's got NASA, speaking of wishing to have ops to play with. And I got nuclear test ban as well. So yes, he has been ops starved. He's got NATO though. I got containment, so he got Olympic Games. And then back in the reshuffle, Europe scoring, 5-year plan, Cambridge 5, no Decol or D-Style, Eastern European unrest. So, Cambridge 5 is a good headline. It getting defected isn't the end of the world, and he can't use the NORAD ops to do any shenanigans in Europe. So yeah, let's find out if he's holding a scoring card. Ooh, he's playing the Defcon game. But we'll participate. He wins, as per. Does he hold any scoring cards? He does not. So we'll get our coup off. And we're going to take Iran. Great. And we're going to hope that he takes Panama, which is currently open. Because we would rather him do that so we can then flip Pakistan with the China card and make it a 1 in 3-er. If he walks into Panama, I might flip Pakistan prior to dropping Europe scoring. Although it starts to get a little dicey. I was lucky to get independent Reds, because obviously that helped with the country count in Europe. I expect to see either overprotect Pakistan or walk into Panama. Although, of course, he needs to watch out for Middle East in case I'm holding it and can drop it for 4. But it just takes 1 op in Egypt, although he holds Nasser, or 2 into Libya. So a few options. We'll space Eastern European Rust and hold 5-year plan. Ah, interesting. Forgot about that. Yeah. So, we know he's not holding Asia. So before we do anything else, we'll drop Europe scoring. Will we? There's so much more we can do. Let's not be stupid. We'll take back South Korea, move into Panama, and take Afghanistan. Will we take Afghanistan? No. We'll break Pakistan instead, threatening to move on India. I'm not sure which of those is better, given that we know he's holding NATO, so feel free to tell me what you think. But again, we know he's not holding Asia scoring, so we have a little bit of tempo there. The imperative is to drop Europe for domination. If I screw up the tempo there, that's entirely of my own making and my own fault, so let's not do that. Right, so what I see here, NATO, 2 into Pakistan, 2 into Thailand. Gives him domination. So I'll have to do something about that. Although I can hold 5-year plan, if I'm lucky I can drop Asia scoring. So we'll hold our council for now. Okay. I suppose now's the time. Is now the time to do that? Yeah. Let's do that. It does mean AR6 we now need to put 2 into Pakistan and 1 into South Korea to cover NORAD. So let's see what he does with NATO. He may just walk into India. That's the best case scenario for us, because we're not in a great position to ops war. On NASA. Okay, that works great for us. We'll drop Europe scoring now. So space East European unrest. Or do we space independent Reds? Because that does 3 ops of damage as well. Space independent Reds, potentially event and repair East European unrest. Although we really just need to cover East Germany and Poland against Truman. And then AR6 cover Pakistan, South Korea. Well, we got him to use it before. That's fine. I'm glad we got him to use it before AR6. Okay, so now, space independent Reds. He can't space twice. Oh yeah, we don't need to event and repair East European unrest. I use the China card. So we're hoping not to be dealt in the mid-war. 2. Oh, he's going for it. 1 in 6. Not quite enough. 2 into Pakistan, 1 in South Korea to cover NORAD. So he got his Milops. -8 going in is alright. He'll get Middle East domination here. But I'm in decent shape in Central America at least. Would have been nice to have Decol or D-Star. But being able to 5-year plan away a nasty card's nice, as long as I don't get dealt VOA and grain sales or something similar. And Truman's gone, so I don't need to worry about that for a while. That's good. So breaking Panama's decent there, but it does also set me up with a coup target. Defectors hasn't gone. But I still like ABM Treaty because it's the worst thing to be missile envied with. So I could ABM treaty even Thailand, and then take my regular coup on Panama. So not a bad headline. Agency and Decon, D-Star still in the deck. So I got ABM, I got Soul, I got Arms. Arms Race is nice in combo with ABM Treaty here. U2, Kitchen Debates currently isn't triggering. Sadat I can always trigger and hope NASA comes back. And my 9th card is Central America Scoring. So, we're going to start with ABM. He's feeling bold. So we'll take the coup on Thailand. It's rubbish. So we'll now take the coup on Panama. We're not going to use Salt in case he spaces D-Style. So no 1, please. Perfect. So what are we looking for? We're looking to drop Central America for domination, I guess. So we may use Eastern European Unrest to take Nicaragua and Haiti, although Eastern European Unrest is our 0-2 space card. Domination's worth another 2 VP, so it's probably not worth the tempo in the AR to get that extra VP. And we've made NORAD worthless this turn. Well, not worthless. If he's holding Asia Scoring and Shuttle Diplomacy is in the deck, he gets Asia Domination. So let's not sully his hard work with Shuttle Dip. If he's got Middle East Scoring, that's a problem for me. Yuk yuk. Might be all the more reason for me to drop an influence in there. Although, if he's got it, he's going to play it immediately. So I expect 1 into Thailand for domination in both, and a sympathetic scoring card. I'll respond with Central America Scoring before he moves into Mexico. Space, East European Unrest, and try and score Arms Race. He's pummeling. Okay, so maybe he's got Southeast Asia Scoring. So we are assuming he does not hold Middle East Scoring. So we'll drop our scoring card first. Nice to get the China card back. If he drops Southeast Asia Scoring, we space East European Unrest and hope to win the 50-50 battle here. And we'll keep hold of 5-year plan now, not least because the Middle East and Asia are looking a bit hairy. Is there anything worth salting? ABM and Purge is about as good as it gets. Pack for the 50-50, but by salting it, he'll just walk into Burma. I guess what we're hoping for is for him to not have a scoring card. If he doesn't have a scoring card here, and I get off to space, I can get up to 19 by the end of the turn, right? Space 14, Mill-Op 16, Arms Race 19. And then U2 Incident to salt for 20, which is insane. So let's see what happens. Okay, he splashes around. We cover the regions for John Paul. Let's get off space. We fail. So that puts a pin in us winning this turn. But we'll still claim Arms Race. And it looks like we're not going to be salting anything spectacular. So we will be using Kitchen Debates to get a foothold in the Middle East, obviously. But we'll keep 5-year plan. I'm disinclined to use Salt to raise Defcon because I think more damage can be done than I can cause. So he does have Southeast Asia scoring. Gets 7, not bad. But Will still claims arms race. We're going to keep the pressure on. And he can only score it once, at least. And he's left me a nice coup target in Angola. So I'll begrudgingly event Sadat after kitchen debates, just in case we end up racing on battlegrounds. At the moment, I'm marginally ahead. That's another reason to do kitchen before Sadat, of course. Wee. Does that? No, good. Okay. We're going to live with that for now. But we may sort ABM. The problem with sorting before Lone Gunman is that even that's an invitation. Three for 3. Good way to ditch Suez. The upshot of sorting ABM is that I can then get a Sadat coup off on one of the one-stab Africa grounds. What do we think? It's either sort ABM or probably a bland op with Sadat, so maybe it's worth doing. It sucks when we see Lone Gunman. But I may lose to South America control otherwise, so I need to get Defcon up to do some damage, and he's unlikely to cause as much trouble. Let's sort ABM. It's exciting, and at least if he doesn't do anything else, I get lots of mill-ops, so there's that going for it as well. Post hoc validation at its finest by me. But if he coups, I'm going to coup Nigeria with Sadat and hold ABM for the next headline, but it's going to be the headline by virtue of the fact that I'm, run the risk of being missile envied or defected. Okay, great. So he'll probably get a call on Angola. Alright, so we're going to be boring. So bigger than a 4, please. Yeah, a 3's, given it's Nigeria, isn't the worst thing that could happen. And I'm holding 5-year plan, so I guess I'm hoping to see South America scoring, but I can 5-year. But we'll be headlining ABM. And if I'm holding 2 nasty scoring cards like Asia and South America, I have to coup Thailand, which is incredibly brush warrable. We've raced Defcon back down, so Lone Gunman remains a threat, although of course it's a 3 didn't have. So I'm in the weird position of looking alright for VPs, but the board position favours my opponent. In the absence of something else to, queuing Southeast African states for presence-less domination isn't a bad shout in Africa. What we'd really like is a double whammy like ABM and then Junta AR1. Okay, so he spreads around but doesn't get domination anywhere, which as an AR7 crisis isn't much. But I got 0 of the scoring cards. And to avoid missile envy, we're going to use ABM, although he'll just take We Will Bury You and use that. But let's headline that. No alarms and no surprises. So John Paul looks like the likely go to space card, because we can use special relationship to break the UK. We've got tentative access with Allende. So he's going to look through the pile of cards. But we're going to get our first coup off on Thailand while DEFCON's 4. And it's crap again. Holy crispy crap. Oh well, I think the gods are telling me that Asia is going to be dominated. But next up, we will use We Will Bury You to coup on Venezuela. And hope not to roll a 1 there. That would be lovely. Really only Lone Gunman upsets me here, right? Because the scoring cards are all in his favour. What he's doing is thinning out the deck to make it more likely. Yep, so that's great for me, you know, as use of it goes. So we're going to power off here. Perfect. Said with the least amount of sarcasm. So Thailand to regain domination, I guess. We're likely to event Allende here. In retrospect, potentially Argentina, because obviously by eventing Allende he can move into Peru and threaten realignments. I have the option of playing the China card and taking it back with Cultural Revolution. We need to get John Paul into space. I may not take the risk with Allende as much as anything. Or I might do it AR7 when I can pose a bit more problem. Yeah. Okay. And Costa Rica, yeah? Okay, that's it. And it fails. So there goes Che. There he goes again. If he doesn't assume domination anywhere else, then spacing John Paul and trying to get to the 2 VP square again isn't a bad shout. But I guess what we're likely to see here is something like 2 in Uruguay for domination in South America, and more ploughing of inference into the Middle East prior to a scoring card dropping there. The rest of the board's not so sweet at the moment. But we'll keep hold of 5-year plan. All we need to do is ditch one unsympathetic scoring card to make things look better. I mean, of the 2, we prefer Middle East to drop than Asia. But the fact he's doing ops before scoring card implies that he's not holding Asia or Middle East scoring. Because Che's not going to make either of those more than 1 VP better. If he dominates South America, we're just going to eat it. If he dominates Africa, we can always coup his dominating place. Yeah, okay, right. So we're just going to eat that and we're going to space John Paul. Come on, Roscosmos. Boom! Second time lucky. So if he drops South America scoring here, we just say fine, 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 fine. There it goes. So we're going to use Liberation Theology before he moves into Mexico. He's now going to have to do something about that. And if it's VOA, then, you know, he's not cutting off access in other nasty areas. So that's fine for me in principle. I'm just trying to stay ahead of the ticker here, basically. I will push into Algeria. Nope. Quelle surprise. But especially because of NORAD, we're not going to... Okay, great. We use defectors here. Overprotect. That'll do for now. If he's splashing around in Central America, I'm fine with that from a tempo point of view, because it's been scored. What he should be doing is trying to dominate Africa. As the last unscored region, he's not in a bad place anyway. It's a shame Quagmire's come out. Would have been really nice to stick him in it and get rid of NORAD. We're going to use special relationship now to break the UK and deny the trigger, especially as he would have moved into France. Cultural Revolution to Algeria, and then I can always event Allende AR7, but that's a gamble, but I'm not going to use the one-op better anywhere else, so it does at least pose him a problem. And if I'm lucky, I get Junta in the headline. Although that doesn't solve the Africa problem. Getting a coup off on Zaire might be the priority next turn. Although Bear Trap, Nuclear Subs, Grain Sales, Voice of America, and Colonial Rear Guards are all still in the deck. Oof! Yeah, not going to be able to do anything about that. So let's move to there, and our other op we will use to overprotect where? Afghanistan against Indo-Pakistani war? No, because that's in the deck. Bland. We'll just overprotect Algeria with that. Thank you, because Voice of America might remove more. I don't know. I'm talking crap. That's unlikely to be an issue. Cool. Still suggests he's not holding any scoring cards, right? We're going to event IND and just say you want to call some shenanigans. I mean, at least it's not 2-0 because I'm ahead of him in Chile. But moving into Peru's not a bad shout. It does at least pose a question, which he has a more or less immediate response to. Okay. Alright, so once again I did not receive any scoring cards. I need to space Grain Sales, and now I can't use 5-year plan because I've got Colonial Rear Guards as well. That's great. Alright, let's use Junta and get DEFCON down in the headline. Unfortunately, he's going to get a coup off first. And we want to give him flower power. That's a shame, but at least DEFCON's coming down in the headline. OPEC and Brezhnev, South African unrest. And my last card is Grain and Colonial. So that's kind of gross. I'd be interested to see where he coups. Mexico, yeah. Well, that puts a pin in that. So we'll get a coup off on Uruguay. And then we'll use Missile Envy to take Argentina. Not ideal. So we space grain sales. We may use the China cards to some extent. I know it sounds stupid, with one small step still in the deck, we kind of want to miss so we can then also space Colonial Rearguards next turn. He had Asia scoring. A boo. We will event South American unrest. Will we? South African unrest, sorry. Did we? Do we want to do that yet? Alright, let's move into Israel. And take Chile. And then it looks kind of bland. Because what I want to do is event Muslim Revolution to get into Egypt and flip Middle East. He may get wise to that from the walking into Israel. And he may have Camp David Accords. If he doesn't move into Israel, Muslim Revolution is the must event because it flips domination. Okay, so he's ditching cards. Lone Gunman's likely to be one of them. Yeah. Lads, decol loan. Okay. That's a bummer. So we event Muslim Revolution in a heartbeat. I'm going to use OPEC to move into Egypt because I do not think 3 VP is enough to justify it, and I kind of want to use South African Unrest AR7. I still need to get Millops this turn. Oh, he's got it. Oh well. So we'll use OPEC to take Egypt. God, this way I'm not going to get Millops this turn. So if he doesn't move into Libya, I will take there. If he does, I'm going to have to use the China card this turn to hold 5-year plan. But I need to go off to space as well. So those 3 this turn, and ideally South African Unrest AR7 just to cause havoc. We'll hold grain sales. Yeah, we'll use the China card. Egypt may have been better what with NORAD the way it is, but we also want to be racing on Israel. I don't know. Again, more validation. Actually, we want to space grain sales even if it comes back in the reshuffle, because obviously if we're successful we then can't space grain sales and we're stuck with it in 5-year plan. So how is the game going? Averagely, It's bad being behind in Africa, but I might get to 5-year planet. At least he's used nuclear subs not to cause cleanup. I'm now further ahead in... So let's space grain cells. Okay, great. He may headline peak now, but at least I can space colonial rearguards next turn. So I've got two options. I can either event to cause havoc in Africa and not get mill-ops, or I can try cooing Southeast Africa states and hope to outflip him. Oh, that's fine for now. Right. Let's go with this and hope for a big roll. Okay, that's... I can pretend that that was genius rather than foolhardiness. So we've still got Yasuri Alliance, Bear Trap, Voice of America, and Nixon on his side. Comic-Con's gone. SocGov, D-Star, Warsaw, Willie, Miser. Warsaw's gone. Brush One Small Step, Summit went. Middle East Africa, South America. South America's gone. Oh, well, I've cleaned up my my hand at least. 5, 9, 12 cards left in the deck. Nah, what do I know? Something else is gone. Brush hasn't One Small Step. Middle East hasn't. Africa hasn't. SocGov, D-Star, or Willie, any of those? Nope. Yasuri Alliance, Bear Trap, Voice America, and Nixon. Well, what do I know? There's VOA. Ouch. So we can 5-year Africa as long as we're okay using the rest of these cards. So he got Middle East scoring. I got One Small Step, which is good. If he gets ahead, I get the 3 VP score. I got Brush War as well, which is nice. Got Yasuri. He got Bear Trap, so we might do a Bear Trap Quagmire face-off. So he is holding Socialist Governments, Alliance for Progress, D-Style, Bear Trap, Willy Brandt, and Middle East scoring. So let's expect Bear Trap here. So let's do the Spider-Man finger point. Yep. So let's just pray we both get out and neutralize. Because it's gross when one side does and the other side doesn't. So Colonial Rearguards is the worst 2-op card. Hooray! Now let's be mean and say I hope he gets stuck in. Which is uniquely hypocritical of me. Oh dear. At least he got to ditch D-Style. So what are we going to do? Let's use Nixon to coup. And we'll coup Venice. Oh, should we coup Africa? No, because we're going to 5-year plan Africa. Although we've got Brush War. What if we Nixon coup Angola? And then try and flip Zaire. Oh, I've got special relationship to play as well. If he gets stuck in again, I'll just tap. He doesn't. Okay. We're going to do that? That's a 100% chance. Let's do that. I'm not happy about that, but I've left myself a little ops light. What did he chuck second? Socialist governments. So he's got Alliance, Willy, and Middle East. He knows I'm holding Africa scoring, so he has to do something about it. We're hoping he gets off to space at some point, which he might not now he's ditched his worst cards. Because we really wanted to do the one small step, 3 VP, Yasuri, space to discard Gambit. Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to use 5-year plan on Africa scoring. Because we're getting to the point where holding 5-year plan increasingly becomes a liability rather than a benefit. So we're hoping he farts around in Africa. I may space Yasuri to some extent, potentially hope to fail. It's much of a muchness. So I can then use one small step if he does space. We want to use the 5-year plan ops to take Chile, put an influence in Pakistan to protect against the China card, which he's using now. Alas. That kind of suggests he's holding Asia scoring. So let's actually use Yasuri now, give him the China card back and say, what are you going to do? I don't know, that's ideal. He's got Middle East scoring, so we know he's still got to do something about that. Alliance for Progress is only worth 2 VP for him, so he's likely to use it again here. Okay, so I might use Africa scoring, and now I need to hold 5-year plan against Asia scoring. So, what do I know? He's got Willy Brandt and Middle East. Of course, if he doesn't drop Middle East scoring now, I can tap. So he has to play Middle East scoring now. Yeah, okay. Wise. What are we thinking? He's got a coup target, which is kind of boring. This against tear down this wall, I guess. Rather bland. So in the end, I didn't get off to space, and that was a total waste of time. He's got Willy Brandt plus 2 other cards. Now we're hoping to snag Cultural Revolution at some point to get the China card back off him. ABM Treaty or Indo-Pakistani War to do something about Asia. Asia is a big threat. And Voice of America's back in the deck. And we're about to get the late war cards. So, yeah, Willy for the Millops. So it's a 1 VP trade. And we get the late war cards. Great, so I can 5-year Asia scoring, and I can space grain sales. I can use We Will Bury You to get the VP. I like doing all of that stuff. Ooh. Is he going to use Cal? Since he doesn't have South Korea, I don't read him to play Cal here. And I'm sufficiently far behind his USSR, even being able to 5-year plan Asia scoring, that I'm going to headline it. And he can't peak. So let's do that. And if I lose here, then I was probably going to lose anyway. Ooh, Missile MV. Pulls Eastern European unrest. Could have been worse. Because I don't want to give him 5-year plan, because I intend to use it. Asia scoring. Grain sales. I now have Missile MV. Got South Africa unrest back, which I can do some shenanigans with now. Liberation theology can help entrench my position in Central America. Space grain sales. So Middle East first. Right. Repair these against John Paul and tear down this wall. So I have 7 cards. What am I missing? You're an intervention and liberation theology. So it's something of a shame to get all mid-war cards during the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so I want to use you an intervention for the open space grain sales just to get turn tempo. I do want to get domination in South America if possible as well. Since it's not a VP square, I'm going to event liberation theology first and go Nicaragua, Haiti, Guatemala, maybe. So he goes off to space. I get the VP, but he does get there, so he'll be peaking. Let's do some threatening. So we use South African unrest to go 1 South Africa, 2 Botswana, just to make it 2-2 on Angola. And we may use our AR7 5-year plan to move on Peru then. We'd love Europe or Central America scoring to drop just to give us the edge. So he gets Ortega off. We could Costa Rica. It fails. Surprise, surprise. And he's likely to counter-coup here. If he takes Guatemala, that's great, because what we don't want is an increasing coup war on Nicaragua and Haiti. Go Guatemala. No, he's too smart for that. Currently evens there. So we're going to space grain sales first. Gosh, that's annoying for us because, of course, we're now in this sticky situation where he's going to peak turns 9 and 10. And we've only got 1 op cards to counter-coup Haiti with. Wee. Okay, so we use South Africa unrest now. Nothing like USA using arms race on you, eh? Vom. And we'll coup Nicaragua / Haiti with our remaining plays. We may take 3 realigns with 5-year plan on South Africa, of course. That's another option, depending on what scoring card drops when. Okay, great. So we will coup, and please don't roll a 1. 2. Okay. Thank you, gods. Do that again. I dare ya. He's playing with fire here. He should put 2 in this time. He's playing with fire because he's trying to spear realign, but obviously a successful coup gives me domination, which means he then loses tempo anyway. Could really do with Che again. He may not do that again. Once bitten, twice shy. If he doesn't, we might take a cheeky 1-op crack at South Africa. Just hope to roll big. 6 versus 1. Okay, he gets his last coup off before Yuri. Right, so we'll use UN intervention there. And again, please don't roll a 1. Please no 1. Perfect, thank you. And we 5-year plan Asia scoring AR7. And we'll probably put 3 into Colombia. Or if he puts 1 in Colombia, we 5-year plan Asia coup Colombia, which is ideal. So what are we looking to do? We're looking to score Central America and Europe and race to war games, or get domination in as many places as possible besides Asia and pray we don't get a turn 10 AR7 Voice of America. So he's going to gamble. Evens. Oh, come on. Okay, so with Cuba unscored, we're going to retake Cuba and leave Angola open. Alright, we need to remember he's headline peaking. That was gross. A nice big coup on Brazil, of course, isn't a bad opportunity. Although, you know, chances are at this point in the game, USSR's not flirting with many AR1 coups. Or with America the way they are. I did kind of waste brush war. I could have used it to flip Italy, of course, rather than fart around in Africa. That's pretty much the only opportunity to push for Europe control ahead of the Reformer. And I'm not going to be winning with war games. Okay, that's sensible by him. So I do get Europe scoring, which is great, and I get Junta, which is fantastic. We're going to headline Junta here and hope to get a number of coups off, even though he can see I have Junta, so he may defect it. So what we're likely to do here is Junta to Venezuela, turn 1 coup Brazil, turn 2 ABM treaty coup it. We can use shuttle diplomacy because it's going to have triggered endgame. We use Chernobyl AL7. That's not a bad hand to be dealt at this point, especially as we want to know those scoring cards are in play. Getting purged kind of sucks. So maybe Cal to drop Defcom? It also depends how greedy we want to be with Junta, because we could drop 2 in Venezuela. And just coup and then claim domination immediately. But now we need to start thinking about what we're trading. Are we trading... Okay, so he's going to drop Defcon with How I Learned. So we'll do that instead. And we'll drop South America scoring for domination. Path of least resistance at this point in the game as much as anything. Because now, of course, you can take Venezuela and level up South America. If he does that, we're dropping Europe scoring next as well. We're just dumping victory points. And then we'll ABM treaty somewhere to cause some havoc as well. He's got to take Venezuela here. It's the... Although he might have Central America scoring in his hand. So we do also want to try and re-coup Nicaragua. Fortunately, we've got the ops to do it. Got a sheaf of ops this turn. So we're still in shaky space for final scoring, especially with VOA not yet gone. Okay, so he's letting himself be terrorized. Alright. We're going to drop Europe scoring now before anything can go wrong. But we're going to nuclear test ban coup Nicaragua momentarily. Ooh, he's got the I never stopped to count. Too rich to count. What are we thinking? We need a fat ABM coup of Mexico, don't we, to make a difference there? It needs to be a 6. Whereas we can coup Zaire and then use a 4-up card to flip Angola and or do the spear. So I think Africa's better in the long run. Alright. So shuttle diplomacy, well no, let's keep our ops as long as possible. What we're going to do next is move into Sahara and Cameroon for the spear. So what we're going to look to do is we're going to try our best to dominate Europe, Central America and Africa and trade off against Asia. And then turn 10 we need to watch out for stuff like tapping the Middle East to cause domination and hopefully getting Muslim revolution off, etc. So trying to stay ahead basically. And you know, in this position the USSR can half the time when VOA doesn't drop. When VOA drops, we're in serious trouble. Because, you know, domination can be denied so easily in so many spots. Cool. It's always nice to get another VP. So let's... No, let's clear him out of Finland because of the 1 VP adjacency. At this point, it's nice to get extra VPs where possible. So here, what he's likely to do is overprotect Angola, and it's fine. It's sensible, I suppose, because I already have Botswana. But it does allow me to walk into Cameroon and Sahara states, which I'm fine with. And if we start a coup war there, that's fine, because he has more to do than I do. Although, of course, he'll be able to space a 3-op card. I may keep nuclear test ban till the end, till next turn. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Or will I? Because I can use 4 ops to take Israel and get ahead in the Middle East. Let's see what he does. Okay. So we will use shuttle diplomacy here to take Cuba and to threaten the spear on Nigeria. I suspect he's holding Central America scoring here. Because using Pershing to do that little tap. Oh, he's going to terrorism me. No Chernobyl. Fine. So now I have to use all the cards, but I was going to anyway. So we're going to use Arab-Israeli war first. And we'll overprotect Cuba. So now we have to use nuclear test ban. I might put 4 ops into Israel to get domination in the Middle East. Although actually, more attractive is the potential control of Africa. Put 4 ops into Angola and then have realigns on South America at +1. Well, I've already got domination in Africa. I need to be pressing for domination in as many regions as possible to protect against the endgame. If he coups Haiti, I have to counter-coup Nicaragua. It's fairly straightforward. No wonder he was not worried about eventing Iranian hostage crisis. So yeah, I mean, hope against hope is no VOA turn 10. Turn 10 AR7 VOA is gross. Yes, that's good for me. Perfect. So no more scoring cards. It is the traditional race to end game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, shuttle diplomacy is currently in effect. That's good as well. So it's, in a way, it's subtle, but I really like eventing shuttle diplomacy after both scoring cards have gone in late war, because obviously play deck is telling you what the state of the board is right now. At turn 10 AR7, if he does nothing in the Middle East, that's going to blow out to USSR domination. He may not even see it coming. So he spaces. I'd like him to miss. Oh, he gets there. So Chernobyl, we're going to coup Nicaragua just to shore up our state of the Americas. So at the moment we're dominating 4 regions, 1 virtually. We're losing in Asia, and we're very close to being behind in South America because of we are more tappable than he is in South America. What's he ditching? Lone gunman? You gotta love it. Love it. I just love it. It doesn't matter that I'm USSR and that he has done that to me. It's just so good. It's the best. It's probably the best feeling. So, kudos. Alright, so turn 10 is very patently the straightforward, how can we make disaster? It's a terrible gamble at -1. He's just done me a big favour there. I don't know what compelled him to do that. And now he's just going all in, right? You got one in the end. Alright, so we got VOA, boom. Soviet shoot down Cal is just 2 VP. We might use Cultural Revolution, take back the China card here, and play through. Alright, so Marine barracks bombing, Iran-Iraq war, these are all eventable to some extent. But I'd think straightforwardly Cultural Revolution, take back the China card. If he defects it, he defects it. It's a sanguine headline. Special relationship has gone, so NATO's playable, though he may do Star Wars on it. So we want to hold Voice of America AR7. Being purged kind of sucks, turn 10. There it is. Wishing for the devil. Okay, so what do we want to do? What do we want to do? We've got Marine barracks bombing to cause trouble in the Middle East. Although not much trouble in the Middle East. Although, of course, shuttle diplomacy is in. I still think we want to get a coup off on South America first, because it's the last region we can actually wreak havoc in. And we can still space Cal, right? Yeah. Not bad. He's got to repair that, and all the time he's repairing, he's not advancing the board state. So he'll repair. So next up, Next up, what do we like? We'll use Marine Barracks bombing, and we'll take him out of Jordan to increase the Iran-Iraq war potential if he doesn't respond. We'd really like a 50-50 Iran-Iraq war. Okay, so he just repairs. That's fine. Just repairing isn't going to... And I don't need to use cannon. I'm not going to get off to space. So I'm going to give him the China card back. Oh no, actually, I don't want to give him a coup with nuclear subs. We're going to lose tempo by spacing Cal. Because we want to hold nuclear subs. We don't want to give him mil-ops. And we'll give him the China card back. NATO AR7. We're hoping to see Star Wars first. If we see Star Wars, we know that there's no risk of him using special relationship. Although if we use special relation... Okay, there it is. So what's he going to use? I've got VOA. ABM for a coup. That seems sensible. Ah, that's a nice big flip by him. Kudos. He's gained another region. But now Star Wars has gone, I can use NATO. And we're going to push for clearing him out of Africa. Because if we can get control of South Africa, that's good for us. So, Colombia? Oh no, okay. That's a little dismal. Do we want to coup? Do we want to do South America yet? We know what he's trying to do. So let's cover Angola. We can genuinely afford this tempo. It may not. If he misses the coup on Saharan states, we can coup Southeast African states and try and get presence-less domination in Africa to flip 2 VP. So he's just pushing for VEEPs. He gets them. We might want to AR7 coup on Uruguay to deny domination. Let's go for a 1 in 3. Nope. That's a shame. So domination in 4 regions against 2 with his AR7 still to come. I think the play is the coup on Uruguay. Yeah. Perfect. So I think he can deny me domination in Africa, but he will now lose it in South America. Middle East is going to turn domination because shuttle diplomacy triggers. So I've currently got domination in 4 against his in 1, and I'm 8 ahead. So I think I've got the game here on final. But it was a bloody tough fight, even with the ops advantage. He'll wrap this up. He's got 40 seconds left on the clock. Yeah. Okay, so I definitely had an ops advantage, unquestionably, but that's the only way USSR is going to win in final scoring. I'm just about to start another game in 5 minutes, so I'm going to stop recording and set up the next one. Thanks for watching, comment away, and I'll see you in 5.